Hey All-Stars, Claire Korwowski from Wowski Media here. Welcome back to our kids sports podcast, In the Game. Today we are speaking with musician, student, pro skateboarder, Bryce Wettstein. Bryce, I'm so happy to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It is the most amazing thing, especially to begin the day. I'm like, no better way to begin a podcast. I'm like, thank you for having me.
You're beginning your day, I'm ending my day. So where in the world are you?
I thought I was in Shanghai for a second. But no, I'm in Encinitas, California. And I think I really am here. I'm not dreaming. Yes.
Do you want to tell us all what you were doing in Shanghai these past few days?
I was at an Olympic qualifier in Shanghai, China. And it was a 2-part series, Budapest and China, and it's the last phase of the qualifying for the Olympics in Paris 2024 this year. So my dream is to get there, and I've been trying to qualify for, I say, almost about 2 years now, but it feels so special to be able to have a chance, to have a chance like this.
That's wonderful. So, Bryce, as our listeners know, we like to usually start off our show with what we call Sports 101. And so this is where you kind of step into the teacher role and tell us what skateboarding is, if we're watching it for the first time, what are we looking out for if you want to try it? What do you do?
Skateboarding is this amazing ensemble of things. It's basically like you take all your favorite things and bundle them up together, and you step on a skateboard and your mindset is just free. And a skateboard can be the size from like an 8-inch board to a 7-inch board, but the best part is you can choose it in any way you want. And then mostly there's things called drop-ins and airs and all these tricks you can do. So it's really up to your interpretation how you want to skateboard. It's just following your own rules. And honestly, there could be park skating, street skating, vert skating, all kinds of skating. I would actually sing about it.
Great.
I'm going to just try. I don't know. Skateboarding, it is the best unbelievable thing. Starts at the age of 5, maybe even 2, whenever you're alive. There's so many things you can do. It's up to your interpretation, it's true. So don't think twice or second guess the things that you think are nice. That's the introduction of skateboarding.
I love that. Did you just make that up?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing.
Thank you. Honestly, skateboarding is very pleasing to the eye because it's an artist's work. So whatever floats your boat in that day, whatever ocean you want to swim in, that's the right ocean. It's just simply like this creative masterpiece that you can skate around on and paint into any shape or form. And the beautiful part is it waits for you. Like having patience to skateboard, that's the most amazing thing, because so many things take time. And if you take your time to grow, because growing takes time, that's the best part about skateboarding, is you can skate on any board in any park or any street course and still have the most fun because you're still doing it in the way you want to. And it's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. How did you get started with skateboarding?
Well, I started when I was about 5, and honestly, everything was amazing. I remember kind of just being on like the sidewalk, walking down and hearing the sound behind me. And I was like, that kind of does not sound like a sound I'd normally hear. And I was like, what is this sound? What is that? And I think I kind of became infatuated by it because it was something that moves you so much, but yet you could be still for a second and then go the fastest you've ever been, just because the skateboard is like pushing you along. And I remember my dad he would always he would skateboard a lot, and he would always go to the YMCA in the local park, and I was like, gosh, like, what would that be like? And I never really asked him to go because I was just kind of shy. It's one of those things where I'm like kind of waiting till he offers. And then he finally did, and I was like, okay, I'll try this out. And honestly, like, thinking back to my first memory of skateboarding, I remember feeling like I was being lifted off the ground. Like, I wasn't fully in tune with myself and the world. It was like this curiosity. And I think that's what drew me to it, is there was so much to figure out about it. And there were so many kids always just skateboarding around the YMCA park and wearing different colored helmets. And I was like, they kind of remind me of Cheerios or Lucky Charms. And all these colors and all these sensations. I'm like, I love kindergarten, but I'll tell you, this is a different kind of kindergarten. And it was like beautiful. Yeah. Amazing.
Oh, what a visual way to really describe it that I totally understand. I jumped into my first question without actually addressing the stack of cues that we will be getting into.
Yay.
This next one is a great follow up to what you were just talking about. Is there something that you loved about skateboarding when you first started that you still really feel with you today when you're skateboarding?
Yes, definitely. I'd say it's the beauty of finding something different every day within skateboarding. That's definitely what I carry with me, because I feel like there's this exploration that really, really like sits with you every time you get on your skateboard. And I think it's that feeling of, and I'm not just saying this because it's a kid's podcast, but it is that feeling of innocence and childhood, and the feeling of jumping around and feeling so you're letting loose of something.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like skateboarding isn't ever really like too serious, even if you want it to be. That's something I've kind of taken with me, is the fun. Oh, that's definitely what it is.
Yeah.
I've taken with me the fun because no one can take away fun from you. It's just, skateboarding just gives you that beautiful freedom.
I love talking about fun and keeping it fun, but it's not to be forgotten to our listeners that Bryce is competing also on the world stage while you're skateboarding. So how do you keep that sense of fun when, at least from someone sitting comfortably on my couch watching you at home, it feels like these stakes are so high, but you can feel your joy.
That's probably one of the most challenging things I've ever had to face. The feeling that it's all on the line. Not to mention, you're making your line skateboarding and it's all on the line.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard because it's so emotional. I always feel it when I talk about it, because it's probably, you're right, the most stressful thing you'll ever go through. But then at the same time, it's like this stress that is happily mediated with this fun and trust. Mm-hmm. The kind of stress that's really good for you, because it's this dream. You're so lighthearted about it because you have to be, because that's how you know skateboarding. But then it's like, oh man, can I set this aside and not be nervous and just skate it like I would without the contest? But then, it's never like that. You always know how much you want to be there and skate the way you can. And honestly, I'd love to ask this question again like 5 more times, because I'll probably answer it in different ways. It's just like you're where you are before you take a run. Everything is frozen around you, and you don't know anything else except for where you are. And the most present you've ever been is going up that wall and coming down the wall.
I was not expecting to have such a poetic conversation about skateboarding, and I am so unbelievably here for it, Bryce. I love that so much.
Thank you.
I have our next cue for you,
Oh, yay.
which is, what is something about your skateboarding community that you're obsessed with?
Oh my gosh. That's a good question. Gosh, it's definitely friendship. Definitely friendship. Whenever I would drop in for a run, I'd always say, for the friendship. And me so obsessed with it. These friends that come out of the woodworks of skateboarding aren't like any other friends you have. Somehow they just know everything about you because skateboarding is this iridescent kind of place where your true colors are just there naturally. And so it's not like you have to always get to know the person by asking them countless questions or all that stuff. It's just like, gosh, I see it in your skateboarding and your personality, because I love the community of just how everyone is so colorful. It's kind of like everyone has this true piece of themselves that is just needing to come out. I love community, and we have this thing called Skate Rising that we do where we always volunteer and everyone teaches kids how to skateboard. And there's people named, like, there's little girls named Danny, Rose, and Maple, and these names that you just wouldn't even expect. And one of my best friends' name is Lady, and another's best friend's is Poppy. Right? And it's like, that is so magical. Just everyone's names and their personality. And it makes the community this place where you feel this acceptance. And there's nothing better than feeling like you can accept the way you are for that moment, because that's really amazing.
How does community play a role when you feel kind of stuck or frustrated or keep falling down? Literally.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, sometimes I have days where I don't want to go and like meet someone to skate. I'd rather just like stay and write at my desk. And then someone texts, like, Lady, I just can't say no. And little did I know it was just the perfect thing for that day. And that's like the saving grace. One of my best friends' name is Grace too, so it's perfect. The saving grace is getting out there and not just meeting them, but meeting someone you love and something you love at the same time. It's really great to just have something to rest your head on, because sometimes like your own pillow is not enough. You need all your best friends. And what makes them your best friends too is the environment that we're all creating. All you want to do when people land their best tricks, you're just like, yes, and you're always cheering for each other. And to be able to celebrate everything all the time like that without always a reason to celebrate, you're just celebrating. That's amazing.
What is something outside of skateboarding that brings you joy?
Oh, definitely painting gives me joy. Surfing gives me joy. Playing ukulele gives me joy. Writing songs gives me joy. Playing guitar, and pretty much learning about anything I haven't, learning about plants and like agave trees and like elm trees and just all those beautiful little like naturalistic things.
All right, Bryce, we still have a couple more cues to go through.
Yes.
Ooh, do you have a song that no matter where you are, you have to stop and dance to it?
Probably Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. That one. Or Poker Face.
Yes, yes.
All of these. And Taylor Swift. Fearless. I love all of them.
Is there anything you do to help you get in the zone or relax and channel that fun just before you? I learned this terminology from you. Just before you drop in. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what it's called. I try to find kind of like the deepest and shallowest thing at the same time. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but kind of like how there's water at the shallow end and the deep end of the pool. But for me, it's sort of like I just want to find the water, like not the deep end or the shallow end. Just want to like be able to float and kind of find my happy thought, but make it super light so it doesn't weigh me down at all. And I think that's what's so amazing is being able to find that trust, that perseverance, the determination, the gentleness, strength, all at the same time. Because I feel like it's never just one of those feelings, because that's what makes for a colorful person, is having all of those feelings, maybe even at once. But skateboarding is kind of like that.
before I ask you my final, is there anything else you feel like you want to talk about or explore or share with kids?
Definitely, like, you don't always have to overcomplicate things, because it's that moment that gives you that purpose, right? It's like about not searching for your purpose. It's about knowing that your purpose is always changing, and that's truly what makes life amazing. Always give yourself freedom to explore and know you're always changing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. And yeah, there's so much else I want to say, but I don't just want to talk, because I just love talking.
Well, I love listening to your stories. And before we sign off today, in the spirit of the name of the show, what advice or suggestions would you have for any kids or non-kids that are interested in getting into the game of skateboarding?
All right, let me think. I just literally looked over at the wall. It said, do it for fun or don't do it at all. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I would say, think about how many different languages there are in the world. There's over 7,000 languages in the world. So imagine how many different languages people have. So think about the language you speak and speak that language, and people will always try to understand if it's important to you. Most importantly, skateboarding is a language of its own. It's beautiful, but it opens doors that you never would think that would open. It's sort of this feeling that you can escape to. I call it skateboarding, like instead of skateboarding, skateboarding. And nothing beats a fail but a try.
Bryce, thank you so much for sharing your story. We will be cheering you on wherever you're skateboarding and singing. You are officially part of the In the Game team, and so excited to see what's to come for you.
Thank you. Do you mind if I sing like 5 seconds?
Please sing our outro here, Bryce.
Okay, this is a song I wrote called Flip the World Upside Down. And it just reminds me of your podcast about seeing the simple things in life just by flipping upside down. But I'm just going to sing like one. Thank you. So, they think we're different, 'cause we're not like them. Only allies in minimal situations. And when the door closed, they all followed. All those simple things that usually go unknown, like white walls and yellow flowers. Simple things hold so much power, 'cause you can be that thing you never thought. Turn a mountain upside down, climb the roofs and skate the towns. Soon you'll find the simple things all around. You can flip the world upside down. Thank you.
Hey, All-Stars. Before we sign off today, I just wanted to stop and say thanks for being part of the In the Game team. We're so happy you're here. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast and give it a review. It helps All-Stars like you from all over the world find our show. And to the adults listening, follow Wowski Media on Instagram and TikTok. There, we're sharing research, resources, and athlete updates to help inspire our kids to get in the game. See you next time.